Hi there, Chris here. You ready for a room tour? So I wouldn't say it's 100% done, but I don't think it ever will be. My sewing space is always somewhat fluid. I'm constantly changing things and adapting to my needs, so I'm just going to film where it is now so y'all can see it. Now this space is considerably smaller than my other room, but I don't have my 10-foot long arm frame in here, or all of my fabric storage. So I'm going to go through and show you everything that I have done in my new space, and I'll try to remember to say what products I've used or where I got certain things, because I do get a lot of questions about that. So starting off here, we come in, we actually do have a mirror right here. I've had this mirror forever, but that way I can kind of check myself, make sure I'm camera ready. And then we move on to my FeltRight design wall. So I got all of these tiles from FeltRight.com, and I did, I believe it 7 feet tall by 9 feet across is what I ended up doing, and just picked random colors to make it nice and bright. When I use this to design a quilt, I will put a piece of batting on top of here, and then all of the quilt blocks will stick to the batting. Here is my new Ironmatic ironing board. I got the Space Maker model because it has this large shelf right here to hold my big iron. So that shelf and little cubby compartment there is all part of the ironing board. And then this is my Rowenta Perfect Steam Iron that I've had for many years. Husband bought it for me for Christmas, I think in 2018. And then for all of my AccuQuilt die storage, I'm just using Ikea Billy bookcases. And then these are the Augsburg glass doors, and it's glass on the top and bottom, so I can see everything that's in there. I did get an extra shelf for the skinny one here. I think it was like $5 at Ikea, just to get it to fit everything. But on this side, I think I actually have one extra shelf. This shelf right here is stationary, but the rest of them are adjustable. So for my 24-inch dies, I have them standing on end, and then that leaves just enough for the 10-inch square dies up above. I've got my Go Me there because it kind of fills the space. And then on this side, I again have my 24-inch tall dies. And then I just used the extra shelf and just made a little narrow spot. And this is perfect for storing all of the cutting mats, because you want to store those flat so they don't warp. And then this one is a half size Ikea Billy bookcase. Again, this shelf is stationary, but the rest are adjustable. And yeah, I bought an extra shelf for like $5 at Ikea. So I've got my cubes up here. Some of the cubes are still in their original box and some aren't, because you can't fit a whole set, like the 4-inch. I have the base set and the companion corners and companion angles. So I took it out of the outer box so that I could fit them all on a single shelf. Same with the 8-inch right here, which I use all the time. And then these are the 6x12 die boards. The 5x10 die boards, they can lay on their side and still fit on the shelf, but 12 inches just sticks out a little too far to be able to close the doors. And I like having the doors because it helps keep the dust out. So those are 6x12 and those are 6x12 with 5x10 kind of in the middle. Obviously I can adjust that around if I wanted to. That's just kind of how it happened. I also have my new featherweight down there that I have not used yet, so you can expect to see that in some upcoming videos. And then on top of the shelves is just enough space for some of my larger cubes. So I have my 10, 12, and 16-inch cubes up top. Our ceilings are only 7.5 feet tall, so we are limited on height. And then moving along here, we have my cutting table. This was a sit-stand desk that I picked up when my day job was moving offices. This one is a little bit narrower than the other one I was using, so I did just make a particle board top so that I could do a full 30 by 60 cutting mat. Working on some projects here. By the time this video goes up, this will already be released, but this is my latest exclusive design with AccuQuilt, and it is the Ghost Skeleton. Lots of fun projects that will be coming with that. And then that's my new fabric line that is coming in October. Up here are the Ikea pegboards. I believe they're called Skadis, S-K-A-D-I-S. And I just got a bunch of hooks and accessories for it. I got 2 of the larger ones and 1 of the medium ones because that fit my wall really well. And I've just got all my scissors and knickknacks. I've got my Oliso mini irons hanging up there because the trivets they come on have that hanging hook, which is perfect. Rulers. I know it's far from my ironing board, but all of my like flatter and spray starch and basting spray, all that stuff is over there. Iron cleaner, and sewing machine oil up top. That was just where it kind of ended up on the wall. For filming, I have this rig right here. It's from a brand called Neewer, Neewer. The lights are from them as well, and all of these little accessories. Oh, you can see it right there. So that's the brand name. And they have all kinds of lighting and camera equipment, but this works out really well. These are MagSafe for when I'm filming on my phone. And then this is the mount for the GoPro, and I have them all configured so I can quickly change between different angles. We rotate just a little bit. Here is my fat quarter shelf. So I made this fat quarter shelf out of 1x6 lumber because I couldn't find anything that would fit my space. DVD shelves are great for fat quarter storage if you can find them. Since streaming service is so prevalent and physical media has really kind of gone out of style, they could be harder to find new. So if you ever see one at like a garage sale, an estate sale, snag it, because the size of a DVD opening is perfect for a stack of fat quarters. And then beneath that, we have this cabinet here I got on Facebook Marketplace, I think for like $70. It was discounted because it didn't have any of the shelves for the inside, which worked perfectly for stacking quilts. There is a drawer down below, which I think is just full of junk right now. I need to work on cleaning that out. And then next to this is the closet for the room. I'm not going to show you what's in there because it is just a mess right now. And it's mostly stuff that's going to end up in the other room once I get it cleaned out. But I do have all of my hats hanging here. You can't see it, so I'll put a picture up on the screen, but it's a hat rack or an over-the-door rack I got from Ikea, and it's working perfectly. I might actually get a second one because you can link them together and have it be taller. And I have more hats than this, but they're just not in this room. So here we have my sewing station. You saw me putting together this husky table from Home Depot, and it is adjustable. You just pull this out and it can go up or down. Very handy. This is my new Arrow sewing chair from the good folks over at Arrow and AccuQuilt. Super fun. I'm still working on dialing in the perfect height of the chair to the table. And so far the drawers have not been an issue, but you can see I have my machine a little closer to the edge and this kind of hangs over the edge. So I'm not like fully pushed in under the table. That's just not how I sew. But I did have a friend suggest if these are in the way, you can actually just pull out just the bottom drawer. And then it would give you another, what is it, like 3 inches right there. I did get these organizers at Ikea. I'm not sure I would recommend them for the husky table. They are ever so slightly too tall, in my opinion. I actually had to shave the little feet off the bottom and then tape them down so they wouldn't buckle up, so they wouldn't hit this part right here when you're closing it. Also on the top drawer, there is a bar in the back, so you do not have this full height all the way back. I was able to get larger organizers for the bottom drawer, and these work a little better down here. So I've just got like all my thread and needles and everything that I need for the sewing machine in these 2 drawers, which is pretty handy. Down below, this is actually all community quilt. So the top 3 baskets there are the incoming mail. This one is scraps from previous years. This is my working scraps for this year. And that one I think is currently empty, but will eventually be scraps. I've got a trash bin, and then my retold recycling, fabric recycling. So as I'm trimming stuff up, I can just throw the little scraps in there to be recycled. And over here is the sewing setup. And you can see this is how I film kind of those point of view shots of actually sewing, so you can see the needle. This is just a GoPro and some hardware I kind of cobbled together. It's different GoPro mounting pieces. And then this is a mount for a bike helmet. It's slightly curved, which fit perfectly on the front there. And then I can just clip this in and out to get out of my way when I'm sewing. And the husky table is perfect. It actually fits my serger even with my big table here. So if I'm making a shirt and I need to do some serging, I can do that also. And then I have 2 of these in the other room you saw me put together. I just picked it up from Michael's, and it holds these 12-inch, well, they're really like 13 inches, but they're made for holding 12-inch scrapbooking paper. And they perfectly hold projects. So that was the community quilt. I have the current dead end quilt along in these two. And then I think a lot of them are still empty, but working projects will end up in those. Still have a little messy corner over here. This is another mount for my phone so I can film when I'm sewing. So for the dead end quilt along, I would put my phone here so you can see me at the sewing machine here. I have my Alexa there so we can play music, a stack of fat quarters that need put away, and then just other random stuff that has not found its way into a permanent home yet. So I think eventually I am going to redo the curtains in here. I'm probably going to use the Haunted colorway for the Damask Fatal wide backs, which is the lighter colorway, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. So whenever I do that, I'm sure there will be a video about it. I also have my full-size AccuQuill cutter there. The Go Me I use the most is up in the cabinet there. And then below the cutting table is all of my scraps. I have them separated by color. So we have red and pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Bottom row gets a little murky. So that's supposed to be like cream, off-white, brown, tan kind of colors. That's more white and gray. And then this one is supposed to be black, but there's some that are like multicolor that just kind of get thrown in there. So those three, I don't know why, they just kind of turn into a mess. So, and now we're back to the pegboard. All of these accessories are from Ikea. So they have little shelves and baskets, different hooks, lots of different accessories. I have seen a lot of people commenting about accessories that are available on Etsy. I have looked into a few and the shipping was kind of crazy, but I'm keeping my eye out if there's certain things that I think would help me out. Oh, and I have this cute little filing cabinet here. That is all of my extra video equipment. So I have different mounts and stuff for like my GoPros. So I just kind of throw that all in there. And a bunch of bow ties that need to find a home. Kind of do a quick 360 from right here so you can see just how small this room is. So that's where we came in. Then the wall, the die storage, cutting table, sewing machine, fat quarter shelf. And we're back. It's a very small room. I believe it's about 10 by 10, 10 feet by 10 feet. I don't remember exactly. When we bought the house, the closet was actually right here. And I ripped this room down to the studs several years ago because we needed to update the wiring and put in insulation. So I moved the closet over here. So that's the closet for this room. And behind this right here is the closet for the room on the other side of the wall. It just made more sense. It did not take away very much square footage from this room, but it added to the other room. So it worked out better for both rooms. The other room is tiny. And I think that's it. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to it, but I've had a lot of people wanting to see kind of the finished product. So this is as finished as it currently is. I'm sure it will be changing over the years. And if you have questions about any of the things that maybe I forgot to say what they were, definitely put it in the comments. I'll try to add links if you want to check out the bookcases or the chair or the table or anything else that I have purchased for this room. Thanks for watching. See you next time.